That's the way I
I
am
just
too.
like to go away like 3 months, like right after Christmas, just take off and go down and not come back to April.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're recording.
Let the recordings begin. I don't know.
Yours is on the end. Like right down with my phone. I got there. There's everything wall wrapped.
Where'd you get this thing? Where'd you get that?
It was in a handout.
I didn't get one in my hand.
Oh, it's an old thing. It's old.
okay, an
It's,
old
it's from before.
Oh, okay.
It was from a few months ago.
They still call, but if they do, it's not.
I found it a few years back in time.
So. It'll all say wireless call or whatever.
Usually it's
Space calls. Or sales calls. Lady called me this afternoon and made sure we were still having a meeting. For her at 6:30.
Well, if it's, if she's not here, we'll just stick it till she gets here, right?
Yeah. They need to be here.
Yep. We're just holding on to it till then.
They got an attorney working in the butt off for 3 weeks.
Oh, is he free? That'd be a good price if it was half the price, wouldn't it?
Right. So many times you see a knife on the phone, I would really hope. I don't know.
Maybe it's offer a lot of free ice cream.
It's not working. No, it's working. I know, but even if he charges $50 an hour for phone calls, he's got $100 tied up in the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that I don't know.
No attorney charges.
They get some renovation. I realized that he told me he was doing this for free, and I know it's not at the top of every list, because when I send him an email and a phone call, it's a couple of days before he gets back.
Yeah. In between clients or something.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Marion.us.
Yeah, how about yourself?
This dispatch hours today.
Sometimes they don't have them like the neighbors.
No.
They're like, they don't appreciate it.
What do you do with the TV?
I said minutes, but I meant agenda.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think the chief a month ago and said, hey, I don't need these printers. We need it, we'll print it ourselves. And
Well, he doesn't.
he does.
Yes.
Right. I'll just add you to the agenda or to the mailing list.
That's the way we do it in the jury house.
Hi, Casey.
Andy was completely lost.
Huh?
Completely lost.
Yeah.
He showed up at Karen. Calling about it later.
You sneaking in? I'll get here. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. What
You can't get the state code for your livestock, you know, it's causing harm, you can sue them civilly, but. They still there? The deal we party off.
City hall. That's my job, but they don't show up.
I better shut mine down.
Just lay something.
Sure as anything, it'll be coming.
Or no, not last week. Last week.
I bring the good
Think they're here? Yeah, I got two odd pages here. Yes, there's two in the folder. And there's one thing that says page 1, 4, 3, 4. It says 1, 3 or 4, and then you get 2 and a 4.
The computer didn't print the odd number, even number pages, it only printed the odd pages, I don't know why.
That's odd.
It wouldn't scan things this morning, it was noon before I could scan stuff again. That's why text was so rendered all these.
It's 6:30, we're going to call the Jobs and Economic Development Committee to order. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. R. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Prater?
Here.
Mr. Rattler? Present.
We have a summary of proceedings. I believe everybody's got a copy of it and had a chance to read it.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Clerk, would you call?
Mr. R. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Prater?
Yes.
Mr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Under old business, we have something that we've seen a couple times before, a Trex transfer. Is there anybody here in the audience to speak on behalf of Megamoo? If you would please come up to the podium and state your name and address, so we can find out what's going on with this. Yes. Just state your name and address.
Nikita Patel, and the address 411 East Fairground Street, Marion,
Okay.
Ohio.
All right. Now, you are applying for a transfer of a liquor license C1, C2 from Columbus, right? Yeah. We have a few questions, I'm sure. I know I've got a few. Does anybody else have any questions?
Go ahead, Chairman, and then we'll pick up from there.
Okay, I guess the first thing that I have a question on is, I see that you have a proposed plan here, and you have diverse menus and ice cream menu highlights and sundaes. Is this any different than what you already do?
No, this is we could keeping the same, and we adding as a convenience store also because we have a empty space next to the same building. So we
Okay.
want to add some more variety, like we already invite the Hunt Burger Pizza at that place. So we want to sell like sodas and chips, and even that's why we apply for the.
Okay, so the C1, C2 license is not going to change your menu at all, right?
No.
Okay. My next question was, you currently employ 2 individuals and you anticipate growing to 6 or 7 in the summer.
Yes.
Is that normal for you? Is that something new?
It should be more because as we add the concept of the pizza and also the convenience stores, it should be the more.
Okay, yeah. Will there still be a drive-through at your
Yes.
place? You'll still have the drive-through as well as the carry-out, but no sit-in, no
No
eat-in,
sit-in.
right? Okay. I think that might do my questions here. Yeah, that's all my questions. Do you have any, Mr. Ratliff?
Just going through, I think when we do stuff like this, we just have to make sure that everybody is on the same page and that, all I's are dotted and T's crossed. When you say that, are you planning on having a convenience store whether you get this or not?
Yes.
Okay, so then if you can explain to us, you say the total invested amount in the project is going to be $300,000. Can you walk us through the addition of your liquor license? What are you investing $300,000 in?
300,000 is already for the everything, and we adding up more than 50,000 for cooler and some racks and everything.
Okay, so
We tied with the Hunt Burger also.
So the 300,000 is not for, it should be 50,000 on the application and not 300,000?
So 300 is for the structure and the business.
Which already exists.
Yes, we just like bought that place.
Okay,
Yep.
so what the application says, so with the addition of the liquor license, you plan on investing
Yes.
an additional $300,000?
Yes, because we need to drop the area, because right now, we have empty space, as I said. So that's why I want to convert everything inside, so we need to add coolers, walk-in cooler, and we need to set up as a convenience store also, so we have to tie with the Hackney, like so many vendors. As I said, I already talked with the Hunt Brothers, so we need that equipment also.
Okay,
So
but you said all that's happening anyway, correct?
if I get the approval, then I can also start up the convenience store with the beer selling.
Okay,
But pizza, I can start up,
okay.
the Hunt Brothers.
Well, that was my original question. Is this happening whether you get this or not?
Only the pizza can happen.
Okay, so there's going to be no pop, no chips, no Slim Jims, no anything
I
else?
can, but I prefer as a food setup.
Okay, Then you go through, your sales tax. You have is $37,000. So what are you projecting your sales to be?
More than that, like monthly, we are already doing, as per last year, as old owner, he gave me some documentation of the last year. He's making like 30,000 per month. So maybe if I get the license, then maybe 50,000 or more than that.
Okay, because here's how I personally look at some of this stuff. When we have a certain number of liquor licenses that is set by the state, that is set for a reason. And that if you have additional licenses that you are going to allow to come in, there's potential of positive and there's potential of negative. And you have to make complete sure that the people that you are partnering with to bring in extra liquor licenses for your community are people that have a burden on their shoulders to help protect the community as well, and to make sure bad things don't happen. And so when I look at things like the application, as far as, how much time and how accurate that kind of stuff is, and, and even have that as like a predicator of, can I trust people to sell alcohol to, people that they're supposed to sell it to, and not sell it to people that they're not supposed to sell it to. And it appears to me that none of your numbers are accurate. Because the amount invested is not accurate. And then when you look at your sales tax and your state withholding tax, you've applied that you are paying more in salary than your sales are going to be.
Because this business was like seasonal business, like every winter they shut down, but this time we want to keep it open to at least serve the community. Like at least we can sell the pizza and this other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So this is numbers from till now. This year, maybe we got the business maybe less than 1 year.
Okay, but what I'm saying is the projected numbers that you have here, if you take the sales tax rate and you take the state income tax rate, the numbers that you have, you would be paying more in salary than you would be selling. And it's just, those little things to me throw up potential red flags. And that's, not saying that, I'm only one of 9 on the entire council, but that, those type of things throw up red flags to me.
I agree. Mr. Brady, you have anything?
Yeah, I agree with what you said there. You want to be sure, absolutely sure that about the numbers, and you want to make sure this would be profitable. It would add sales tax to the city, and it would also be prosperous for the business also, but the numbers have to match.
Do you understand where we're coming from as far as
Yeah.
the sales tax amount is our rate 7.5%?
Yeah, I'll check both of these because this is my
Okay.
first time, so I didn't check the other part. Like, I didn't prepare myself to see all the taxes and all the things,
Mhm.
but I'll definitely check on that one, even with the previous one of paperwork too, and even I can check on the city website too. So I'll see everything and I'll talk to my lawyer, like what number we're getting and everything.
Okay, yeah. Do you have anything else there?
I do not.
Okay, Ron, do you have
No,
anything?
I do not.
Anybody from the city have anything to say? Okay, what do you recommend? I think we should maybe hold it till we get further information.
Again, I'm one of 3 on here and I'm one of 9 on the council. I would advise you to revise and amend your application. and, come up with a plan and what that plan is going to yield, and have some, accuracy there and something that you can show of here's why we've come up with what that we've come up with. You guys, again, are more than happy to try to proceed if you want. I'm not ready to vote for it, but, that's what I think should happen, is there should be more thought and planning, and at least an amendment done.
I agree. That's what I was suggesting, was we hang on to it till we can get further information. So if you get more information, come back. If you have to revise your plans, then we'll need a copy of that. But until then, we'll just hold on to it and wait for you to let us know. Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, item number 2, new business. We have ordinance for Can-Do. Is there anyone in the audience to speak to Can-Do?
Thank you, Chairman. Gus Comstock, Marion, Can-Do. Hopefully all of you have this letter. We sent this letter out to all our investors. We see you in many ways as representing the community, and we want the community to be involved in economic development as well. I do hope that we'll be able to come back and give our semi-annual report at a later date. Just a couple things I wanted to point out. I want to thank the city board members on Can-Do board, the mayor, chairman, Councilman, Gary Sims is your city rep, and the regional planning director is also a member. Just something I wanted to point out, if you got a chance to look at this letter. We had a really good year in 2024. I think most of you were able to attend the May 23rd event where Jobs Ohio and their consultant came and looked at our sites. The main thing I want to point out is we had a consultant come in near the end of last year, kind of look at Marion Can-Do and how we were structured and changes we needed to make. So in 2025, we have an action plan, which I'll talk more about this in our annual report. So we have an action plan which has a strategy, objective, and I think the most important thing I'm excited about, it has tactics. And so these 5 strategies we have tactics, and what we're asking is the Can-Do board to, every month, we're going to go through the tactics and we'll check them off as we complete them. So for example, business retention expansion meetings, we're going to do 10 of those every quarter. We will report those to the board, and then as we complete them, we'll ask the board to sign off on them. And there are also board responsibilities on here. So what I'm hoping will happen at the end of the year, the staff, which Denny Ferguson and I are the staff, will be able to sit down with the board and we'll be able to review our accomplishments so we both know that we're kind of on the same page, almost literally. So that's all I have unless you have questions. But we're off to a good start. So.
You have any questions?
Yeah, I have one. I was at that May 23rd meeting and the 5 sites, and there was like 2 of them that were really positive, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Has there been any action or any company wanting to come in and use those sites?
Yeah, you're probably talking about the Roberts sites on Kellogg Parkway.
Yes.
We're continuing the authentication process. We have a letter from Jobs Ohio that we need. Here are the final things you need to complete, which the major one are the engineering and environmental studies. And we're just about done with those. We've gotten the final reports. It's hard to say are people looking at them because typically most site selectors, they don't notify you that they're looking at the site. The sites are being advertised now. We know people are looking at them. I know a company in Industrial Park is talking about expanding and they're looking at it.
What company is that?
Well, I don't want to say that publicly, so.
All right.
Companies like predictability.
I understand. Okay. I was just wondering if there had been any, how things are moving along in that.
Yeah, they're going well. The sites, we have 5 sites. We've also added another site. It's at the corner of 98 and 309, the old Frontier building. That site is actively being developed. demolishing the old Frontier building, extending the city sewer line to that site. So we're actively involved in that. I know there's 2 or 3 companies looking at it as well.
Anything else? Mr. Ratliff, you have anything?
Um,
Oh,
a
okay.
couple of things. You had said that you had a consultant come in for restructuring.
Correct.
That's new to me, maybe it shouldn't be, but it is. Is there a reason?
Well, that was a board retreat. The board wanted to have a retreat, so it was a board retreat. So just kind of reviewed our bylaws, what staff responsibilities are, what board responsibilities are, and they provided a report. Sort of the synthesis of all that report was this action plan that the board passed a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Can you give us just a quick overview of the action plan?
Yeah, okay, it has 5 objectives, 5 strategies. The strategies are site authentication. We want to continue the site authentication process with Jobs Ohio. Business retention expansion. We want to accelerate the meetings we have with businesses so we know more about businesses that are expanding and keeping businesses here. About 75% of economic development is keeping your existing businesses here. So we work closely with Jobs Ohio, and Ohio means Jobs Marion, when we meet with companies to find out are there workforce issues, are there any state issues that involve are causing issues, financial stability. We would like Can-Do to eventually work itself into a position where we have more financial stability. I'm starting my 11th year, and every year we start with this hypothetical budget of how much money we can get from different companies. And we just have to go through the year and hope that that money comes in. So we're hoping to create a system, and we're working on that now, where we have more of a guaranteed income coming in. Housing, we're going to ramp up our work with regional planning to find sites for residential development. And then we want to continue to enhance the Board of Trustees' ability to assist with projects. So those are strategies. We also have tactics that go with those.
Okay. Now, just, I don't mean to maybe be picky on words, but you said it was a restructuring.
No, not a restructuring.
Or what was the word that you used?
Well, hopefully I used the words, we conducted an independent review of Can-Do structure and operations.
Okay. So how is that different than what you were?
Well, I think before we were a little disorganized. I think now with this whole Intel project and having the 5 sites, we need to be a lot more sophisticated in how we approach projects and how we market our sites.
Okay.
Anything?
So let me just give you for example, it used to be when we found out a company was looking, we would just sort of talk about the utilities. Yeah, they got 5 megawatts of electricity, they got this much gas, they got this much of water and sewer. Now we require that the utility companies sign off on that amount. So if we say there's 5 megawatts of power at the site, we have a document from the electric company saying there's 5 megawatts of power at that site. So that we can guarantee a site engineer that that site has those parameters.
And that happened because of the consultant?
Well, we were in the process of starting it, but you like to think like minds, or great minds think alike. About the time we started that, Jobs Ohio came up with the authentication process. And so it just
Okay.
kind of dovetailed together.
I'm just trying to pinpoint in my mind, what did the consultant do? What change are they proposing? You're changing to what are you changing from?
Well, I think what they brought to us is we have it down in writing. So we have an action plan. It's in writing that, we will be able to meet with the board monthly and say we've accomplished this tactic. I'm going to ask the board to sign off on those and, vote and say, okay, yeah, you did 10 business retention expansion meetings last quarter. We weren't doing that before. Everything was just sort of, yeah, okay, we did that. And I would just report to the board the things we accomplished. Now we're actually documenting what we did. Because at the end of the year, I want to be able to evaluate how well is the Can-Do board performing.
Hi, Tom Morrell.
Yes, go ahead.
So I think the cart got a little before the horse. I think that the letter that was sent out by Can-Do to all of their investors got sent to the city. It ended up getting put on the agenda for tonight, when normally we wouldn't look at Can-Do and DMI until probably late January sometime. And I think at that time, we would expect Gus and Denny to come back with their annual report, their budget, and a lot of the questions that council normally would have before we vote on whether we give the money to Can-Do for the year or not. So I think I think somehow things got put on the agenda. I didn't actually know that it was going to just be more than a discussion item tonight, but I think we should handle it like we do every other year and make them come and give their presentation prior to the committee and then prior to council voting on whether we give the money or not.
Thank you. I'd like to pose a question. I see that we have an amount here of $41,196. Is that in the budget?
Yes, that's what we had last year as well.
Okay, same as last year. What's your recommendation or opinion you want to?
Well, just like what the mayor said, I know that last year we did not, this was not brought here on January 6th. And what the mayor said, we need you to bring you a presentation. And then I would suggest at that point, then we vote whether to move it on to council.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I just wanted you to know,
I'm on board with that.
I just wanted you to know we were thinking about you last year, because like I mentioned, we sort of have to hypothetically put together a budget on what we're hoping we're going to get, and then we have to go out, send these letters out to investors, and we're constantly meeting with them.
Okay, so I guess from what I hear from the rest of the committee is we'll just hold on to this until you get back with us
Yes.
and let us know what the facts
But
are.
I'm always happy to come there and meet with you, though.
Okay, we're glad to have you. Thank you. Okay, that's the new business. Matters not on the agenda. We do have one matter not on the agenda, and that's a letter from Downtown Inc. Requesting a donation for them. Is there anyone here from Downtown Inc. to speak?
Alan Wilson, Downtown Inc. Should we hold off on this one as well? Or should I hand out materials? Because it's generally done the same as.
It's usually done at the end of the month,
Yeah.
usually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of here tonight because they saw that Can-Do was going to be on the agenda, and they wanted to make sure that they were represented also.
Okay.
And I think that if we put this on for a date certain at some point later in the month, that we have them come and give their presentation and for the committee, and then the committee can decide whether to send that on to council or not.
Our next meeting's what, 20th?
January 20th.
January 20th, so we can do that January 20th.
Is it on the holiday? Yeah, you're right, it'd be the 21st.
21st,
Yeah,
January
yeah,
21st.
yeah, it's a holiday
That's-
inauguration.
Yeah, just for the record, I personally am okay with moving on with this one.
Me
I
too.
think that although we may not have a budget, I think we would have a budget before it hit the council and was passed there. And I think that there's just a better understanding and we can see with our own eyes what goes on here versus what goes on with Can-Do. And so, like I said, I'm one of three up here, but I am okay with moving this on tonight just for the reasons that I just stated.
And I'm willing to listen to Ron. What do you think?
You know what? I agree with Mr. Ayers. Ratliff. I believe that would be, it's pretty clear what Downtown Marion Inc. does. And I think moving it to council at this point with that particular organization would be fine.
And again, I have the question, this is in the budget, correct?
Same amount as last year.
Same as last year, okay. So, somebody want to?
I'll make a motion to pass on to council.
Second.
Clerk call the roll?
Mr. Arschmidt,
Yes.
Mr. Prater,
Yes.
Mr. Rapp.
Yes.
Also, I would like to make a notation that we send this on to council with a yes recommendation.
Second.
Yes.
Would you like the stuff that he had prepared sent to council prior to, or just brought that night?
If you can send that to the clerk, that would be great, and
That would be-
to send that to all council members.
Yes.
Prior to next Monday?
Meeting next Monday. Okay. Any other matters? I have something that I'd like to say, it's not particularly jobs and economic development, but in this matter of the terrorist attack in New Orleans, and I saw that they had barricades set up, but they didn't have the normal barricades that were set up. And I noticed that those barricades were the same barricades that we use for our events, just the two end pieces and the thing. And I'd like to encourage council or city administration to take a look at our safety measures that we take at these events and make sure that that doesn't happen here. I know the popcorn festival, parades, things like that, anybody could just drive right through. So if you would, please take a look at that and make sure that we don't have that happen here. I don't want to see Marion on the national news in that respect. Anybody have anything else? Any other matters? Anybody? Yes. Mr. Rollins.
Mayor Rollins, Council at Large. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I was gonna also bring that up this evening. I know at one time we had a pretty good plan for hydraulic bollards. I know because of some engineering things, that didn't go through, but now that we've got a grant writer, potentially, if there's money available, we should really look at getting that reintroduced. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ironically, I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a bad idea. Marion, Ohio wouldn't necessarily be at the top of the list of everything, but the Popcorn Festival is pretty big. And it only takes maybe a drunk driver or somebody, and it would not be a bad idea if we can get a grant to get these. It wouldn't be bad if, I think every city should have them.
I agree. Anything else? Anyone from the audience? Yes, go ahead.
And when we're on this regional planning, just to give you a heads up that in the future, maybe not on the 21st, but I'll come after that. I will be proposing two things. One, a potential schedule for your block grant projects to solicit projects from council and the citizens, and because this will be the year you apply to the state for what we call the formula grant in June. And then also, we have an agreement with the state Ohio Historic Preservation Agreement. That usually goes for 5 years, and it just says that we do or don't do certain things when we're handling grant monies, in terms of coordinating with the Historic Preservation Office. So that they have revised their, what they call programmatic agreement. So I'll bring their new proposed agreement that they ask communities to either enter into, and we really don't get to change anything with it. It's just something we say, well, we'll do that, and that's part of what we do when we correspond with them. So I'll bring those things and I'll get them to the clerk in advance so you can review that.
Thank you.
And you said you think that'll be the end of the month or not by the end of the month?
I could get it to you by the end of the month. I just didn't know if it would crowd your agenda, since you will possibly have presentations.
When are those do you know when those applications are due?
They need to be in, the programmatic agreement, I think they want that in March. The application, I'll have to double check the exact date, it's usually middle of June.
Okay.
So when we work backwards, maybe it wouldn't be bad for me to get you the schedule.
Yeah, because it's a super long process. So.
It is. And for those, particularly those that might be newer, you've not really seen the process that this goes through. So, no, I will go ahead and bring that schedule.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else? Anyone from the audience have anything? 7:01, we adjourn.
No one had anything.
Thank you for stapling. Paper clipping. I'm organized today.
Yes, all around.
For a second.
No, I figured your committee was on paper, everything else was kind of like, you just did what they could have.
Yep.
The problem I had is,
Yeah, you told me you stood that so.
How you doing, everybody? Time is 7:02. We're going to call Legislations and Codes Committee to order. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Mr. Neff, Mr. T. Smith,
Here.
Mr. Shaw.
Here.
All right, we have some summary proceedings.
I move we accept as submitted.
I'll second that. Please take the roll, clerk.
Mr. T. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Shower,
Yes.
Okay, we have a couple items of old business. The first one is the Trex, which I think we're just going to move past that, right?
Yeah, it did not get moved to our committee, so.
Not yet.
So, question for maybe, well, they left, but if they're going to amend their application, that would be a new application, correct? If their numbers are inaccurate?
I was about to say, the application's for the state, not for us.
Right, but.
I don't think they filed with the state yet.
Okay. Just didn't wanna have this going another month, but.
Yeah.
Move on to item 2, Mr. Chairperson.
We can discuss it if you'd
No,
like to.
no, I don't want to
Okay.
discuss it.
Item 2 is retail liquor permits.
Yeah, this is the annual liquor permit that we review, every liquor permit that is up in, can you hear me, Ms. Fisher? Do you hear me okay? Okay, you put your hand up, I thought, maybe I'm mumbling again, but, so every liquor permit holder renews in February, I believe, and this is our annual review, to see if there's any liquor permit holders that stand out. The police department gave us a lot of handouts and a very lengthy email, and I believe.
I only printed out like the top 3.
Yeah, that was Mr. Smith's request. I don't have any liquor permit holders that I think we should contest.
I don't have any objection to anything, but I do have a question for the chief, if I may. Are all bar checks completely random? Or is there a reason that the officers go in and do a bar check?
Yeah, it depends. It's a lawyer question for you from a non-lawyer. Sometimes they ask us. Sometimes we do bar checks to places that we've had problems at. And so in order to be proactive, we do them, and sometimes they're random.
Okay. Okay. It's just the bar checks push the numbers on some of these calls up, and if they're completely random and there's been no issue, then there's no reason to have objection, I suppose.
Right.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Smith, in the past, I personally try to look at the more violent calls
Yeah.
and use that to weigh my,
And none of them are excessively
Right.
high, so.
so I think we've given this enough time and due diligence that we can conclude this as our annual review and move on.
Okay,
No objections?
no objections. There is, no items of new business. Anything, matters not on the agenda? Other matters? We're adjourned, 7:06. Yeah.
Yes. Are you shy back there? Never used that one time in 12 years.
I knew they were confused, so I was just trying to explain to them. Go back to your application and make
Oh, you were
sure.
out there with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they didn't understand.
Okay, I'll call this committee meeting to order. It's Marion City Council Public Utilities Committee. It is January the 6th, 2025 at 7:07 PM. If you could please take the roll.
Mr. Ratliff?
Present.
Mr. Neff? Mr. Barr?
Present.
Okay, we do have our summary of proceedings from December the 16th. Assuming a motion's coming,
Motion to approve.
I'll second. If you could please take the roll.
Mr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Okay, one item under old business, and that is resolution declaring council's opposition to First Energy's proposed rate increase and requesting the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio deny said request and declaring an emergency. And they had not the PUCO.
Consumer Council.
The Consumers Council came last time and talked to us about this, and they are leading the fight, I guess, and provided a sample. The clerk, myself, and Law Director Russell looked at and made some changes, and I personally like what we have before us. Any questions or comments from the committee? From the administration? Members of council in the audience? Okay, so, overall, I just, people can agree with me or not, I think this is kind of a game that people have started to play. If they need a 10% increase, they ask for a 15, and then they usually end up getting like an 11, which is more than they really needed, and everybody acts like they did a good job and won. And just what I see happening here. But, I mean, we have to play the game and fight it because I think they've asked for way more than they actually need.
Make a motion to send on to council.
I'll second that motion. If you could please take the roll.
Mr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Just to clarify, that's a motion with a recommendation.
With the recommendation to approve.
And one item under new business, same thing for the Columbia gas increase. And it's, I know we didn't get the actual presentation for them. I think they alluded that that was coming, and now it has, and so thoughts from the committee?
I'm assuming we'll be putting together something similar,
Yes.
and they'll have a
Yeah.
template from other communities.
I think we can probably use the template we've just used for this one as that one. So I'm going to assume that we have something coming at the next round of committee or the one after that.
If you'd like, we can take the content that's been shared and we can just insert it and we can have the ordinance for the next council meeting. Just again, basically contains the
Right.
same content.
We're under no time constraint on it, right?
No, there's no time constraint
Okay.
now.
I personally would just, I think that we have tried to set a precedent to have the ordinance in front of us before we pass it on to council. That would be my preference unless that causes an issue with timing, and I don't think that it does. Anything else for discussion on this topic? Okay, matters not on the agenda. Anything to come before the Public Utilities Committee tonight? Seeing nothing, we're adjourned.
For next committee, expect that, all right? Yeah, but so I just expect the numbers of yourself, what you think your costs, what your projected revenue is. Those, if you're gonna come into our community, we wanna make sure you have our best interest at heart also. I know we're saying it's good, so she drove here from Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Am I out of here? Are you kicking me out?
Get out of here.
I'm reasonably sure you guys want to sit on your lap.
Everyone ready? Call the Finance Committee to order at 7:11. Clerk, take roll, please.
Ms. Lang?
Here.
Mr. Rollins?
Present.
Mr. Rath?
Present.
Next on the agenda is the proceedings for finance minutes. We are missing 2 pages, pages 2 and 4.
I have that PA copies for you.
At this time, I'm not recommending to approve them until I have an opportunity to read through them.
Sounds fair.
Any objections? No. Moving on to old business, item number 1 is an update from the auditor for the state projects and big reconciliation projects.
Yes, as we've stated before, the bank reconciliation projects are completed. The utility billing project is still ongoing. That we do have a call on Thursday at 10 a.m. to go over some scenarios with Andrea from the utility billing department as well as Doug from New World. We've been running through these scenarios with Andrea several times now, just to verify that we have all the possible situations of what these adjustments will be used for clarified. And then we've been trying to see if we can run a couple scenarios through our test module just to make sure that they're actually behaving the way that we thought they would. But we should have more information after Thursday.
And you said that is Thursday?
Thursday at 10.
And that's going to be you, Andrea, and New World?
Me, Andrea, New World, and Greg and Nicole.
Okay. Did you send me an invite on that?
I can.
Please. Any questions?
Yeah, just a question. So the only difference between the December 16th and today's update is that last time you said there's been no help from New World. Have they provided assistance since December the 16th?
Unfortunately, our contact was out of the office for a couple weeks, so I wasn't able to actually get him to give us any assistance. But we're hoping again, since we've run through all these scenarios with Andrea since then, that we'll have narrowed them down enough that we can actually get some answers from him come Thursday.
And you guys have done some tests on that?
We've run a couple through our test modules, yes, just to verify that they're actually operating the way they should.
Okay.
And are they?
Some of them. The other ones we've realized are, when journal entries are created, they net to zero. So if they net to zero, no journal entry is created, which kind of causes some issues as far as GL distributions and notifying how, and seeing how those GL distributions break out. So that's one of the questions that we have is why is there no journal entry being created? Even if it nets to zero, there should still be something.
Any other questions on that? Moving on to item number 2, audits for 21, 22, and 23.
Yes, I actually got an email on the 20th around 5 o'clock. It looks like Michael Lennon is continuing with the financial statement preparation. The auditors are going to research the transfer issue that we've been having. So he's going to continue working through the financial statement preparation, get them in the WebGap system, and get them finalized. They should be starting to work on that shortly. I just have to get them access to WebGap, which I plan on doing tomorrow.
Did he give any indication as to when it would be finalized?
No.
Any other questions?
Since our last meeting, has there been any contact with local government services?
Yes, I believe Tacey, and I think the mayor had a meeting with someone from local government services. I was out of the office for a few weeks, so it happened while I was gone, but I do believe they had a meeting.
Did you say a few weeks?
Yes. 2 weeks.
Any update or movement on that?
We're trying. We met with Scott Brown a week or so ago at our request to have him come down and kind of express to him what I've already expressed to you guys about what keeps me up at night and us never catching up with our audits. And he assured me that we're not the only city that that's ever happened to. And we talked about the issues with Charles Harris and how that got subcontracted out. And the email I just got from him today said that he thinks that Cindy from Local Government Services and Charles Harris and the subcontractor are in agreement that they will pass it on to the state. The state will then make the adjustments they need to make and take control of the situation to hopefully move that forward. So that was fresh off the press today.
Okay.
Again, I'm still not positive. I'll feel more positive once the state actually says, yes, we've taken that audit and we're moving forward with it. And he seems to think that they will be able to move those audits through much quicker than 8 to 10 months, that they should be able to get us to a point where we will get caught up. So it's not a never-ending saga, I guess, with no answer. So that is the answer we have currently, and I think we should know something more by the end of the week that the state and Michael Lennon have reached an agreement with each other to go ahead and have the state take that over and continue work on it and begin the audit.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Moving on to item number 3, penalties and appeals.
I have no new information at this time, and no new correspondence.
Last time you had gotten a letter, I know you passed it on to us. Any updates on that?
I have not received any communication back yet, no.
Okay. I don't know, do you anticipate us, it didn't seem like we were like involved in that. Do you anticipate us getting anything?
I'm not sure, the letter stated, like I said, that it's kind of the IRS taking action, there's not
Right.
anything for us to do with it.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if there's gonna be damages or anything like that, I just know that the IRS is taking care of it.
Okay, thank you.
And status on the police fire pension.
I've received no communication in the last couple weeks to follow up what was previously shared.
And the IRS claim bond.
Same thing, same company.
It's the same one?
Yeah.
And that's the auto insurance, right?
Yeah, auto, yep.
And there's no new business, matters not on the agenda. Is there anybody that has additional questions, concerns, other matters? If not, we stand adjourned 7:20.
I'll get a hold of you midweek.
I think you're over there.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I think he's got you over there.
You guys sit next to me. That works for me.
I thought for sure you could tax it.
No, the paper says we're supposed to be in the middle.
Yeah, I was waiting to see where he had my name tag.
But it's all right.
This is kind of fast.
Last round, yeah.
7:21. Called order the Streets and Sewers Committee. Clerk, will you take roll?
Mr. Barr?
Present.
Mr. R. Smith?
Here.
Mr. T. Smith? Here.
Got a summary of proceedings. Everybody had a chance to look over.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have one issue with it. My name's misspelled down there at the bottom. Sean, not seen.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that,
With clerical errors.
if you'll take roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. T. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. R. Smith?
Yes.
Okay, new business, item 1, clerk if you'll read.
Ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Public Works to prepare plans and specifications, advertise for bids, and enter into contracts according to ODOT's local LET procedures for the MAR 4D/309 resurfacing projects in the city of Marion, Ohio, appropriating the necessary funds and declaring an emergency.
So this resurfacing project, for north and south Prospect Street, Route 4, and then 309 out to Kenton Avenue. I know they do have some funds in the Marion the large city funds that the state holds, am I right? So most of that would come through? Yeah.
I make a point of clarification.
Mhm.
I notice it says in the description and also in the ordinance, the Director of Public Works. We don't have a Director of Public Works, probably should say the city engineer. If we could just make that adjustment before it goes into.
Oh, yeah.
We good to make that adjustment, Mr. Pollitt?
You can do that.
Thank you.
So, am I right in understanding that we have to, basically, we handle paying for the design, and that, then it should be like an 80-20 with the state as far as that's done, and really that 20% doesn't even really come out of our coffers, that's what's being held for the large city funds that the state holds for us.
Yes.
Any other questions from the committee?
I have none.
Make a motion to send on council.
I'll second.
Take roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. R. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. T. Smith?
Yes.
That's a recommendation to approve, correct?
Yes.
And that was with the correction of Director of Public Works to city engineer, right? Item number 2, if you'll read, clerk.
Resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to apply to the Marion County Commissioners for monies derived from the automobile license tax and declaring an emergency.
So this is an annual thing. It's when, I think it's when the DMV sells a registration, there's a $5 tax. goes to the county commissioner's office, or the county, and the county commissioners have to disperse that. We just have to apply for it. And, any questions from the committee?
Yeah, on here we have resurfacing of 26 streets. Is that what we expect to do out of that money, or what?
That's just a list that can be done. That's not
the eligible
Just eligible.
We'll go through it.
Yep. Mr. Schauber?
Just, I may be overthinking this, but it says September 23rd of 1968, they passed this resolution to add the $5. Back in 2016?
There's two different.
There's two different, okay, that's,
Yeah.
okay, all right, never mind.
We're basically just authorizing the mayor's office to apply to get, which I think the lion's share of the county, I think it's to the tune of close to $150,000 that will come to us. Okay. Wishes of the committee?
Make a motion, we send it to council.
I'll second.
We'll take roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. R. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. T. Smith?
Yes.
And that's a recommendation to approve.
Yes. Anything from the audience?
Jason Shaw with Clearwater City Council. So I think this is the right committee, but am I under the correct understanding that the railroad crossing at Kenton Avenue will be redesigned, reconfigured? So is that CSX and ODOT is looking at that crossing?
Yes.
Potentially closing some access from streets? So so that crossing is a big deal for that side of town. And the cries are loud and often about an overpass or something to help alleviate the issues that are there. Whose ears do I need to rub to get that point conveyed?
CSX is the one that has to.
Right, and as I understand, CSX and ODOT are now having conversations about that crossing, so now would be the time to pounce to get our
We've been
concerns heard.
We've been in contact with the project manager from ODOT about that project already, so as that moves forward, I think, I'm not sure what year it's programmed for, but as it moves forward, we will make sure they're aware of that situation there.
So is there anything or any avenues I can send folks that live in that side of town to voice their concerns to either ODOT or CSX? Because they do take public input, but is there any avenues that I can direct them towards?
I would go through ODOT, I can get you the name of the project manager from ODOT, that would probably be the first place I would start at.
Okay, because I don't want to miss this opportunity, because that's a huge deal. Not just necessarily for the people that live immediately there, but whoever travels 309, that's a disaster.
I concur with that. It's, it's the railroads, that situation, but I can tell you from an engineering aspect, there's no way an overpass could be done in that area.
Well, it may be so, but I want to exhaust every effort and just not let this skate by.
There's just not enough room.
Yeah, so,
There's a lot.
But while those two are communicating,
right,
That's
we
what
have
you're
the
saying. I get
opportunity, and maybe they will realize that they shut that into town with their train traffic, which that's something we can't stop, because that's our economy. But if those two are talking, we need to put our voices in their ears.
There's definitely things that can be done to make the track much better.
Correct.
yeah, not stopping on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else from the audience? We're adjourned, 7:29.
Sweet.
I took my days off.
I just sort of.
Almost already broke.
I thought for sure you would have caught it.
I did it right.
All right, I can go catch an important meeting.
I was
Because he comes around my office.
She came up this morning and normally she'll just pass by and I'll stand there. Oh, did she?
Thanks, Matt. I'm sorry to put you on blast on the spell of my name.
Well,
It's fine.
I understand.
I know, I've about told you this.
Arguments and they say you were dispossessed.
I got a new puppy.
You did.
Yes, he did, and it's like cute. Look.
It's a Labradoodle. It's the mom and the dad's the lab. He thought we ran into him at a roll game. He's done awesome. My buddy said, I got him up when he was 3 months old.
How old is
Said 3 months. He said he is a